Live from New York, it's a show that's trying to get Brew to frame some of his old New York Times articles.
The Gray Lady.
Yeah, for a keepsake. You can put it
the New York Times doesn't often, and maybe never now, since it doesn't have a sports section anymore, have sports on the front page of the main paper.
I did the other day, World Cup.
Sure, I said doesn't often. I didn't say doesn't ever. Doesn't often. And so Brew has some front page.
The next one?
The Patrick Ewing.
This is what I'm talking about, Brew.
Just saying the World Cup and the Knicks 2 times.
He can't let if that side of the
Knicks,
table is going to be
this was the first time in 53 years they won.
Yeah.
It's on. U.S. Open.
I might have had the last front page Knicks story.
Brew,
maybe.
I'm just saying
Ewing was
you had an amazing career.
Thank you.
Or are having an amazing career, but an amazing career in print journalism. You should have
hear
it
that
printed.
slip up? I'm a has-been.
No, that's not what
I'm a has-been.
You're a has-been of print journalism. You're now rolling it on stretchers. They always say about me.
In Kansas City, Sports Illustrated's Connor Orr listed 14 teams that can win the Super Bowl.
They can. 14.
Just can.
Just can. Not on the list.
Have a shot.
The Arizona Cardinals and the Kansas City Chiefs, amongst others.
Almost everyone else on it.
We'll focus on the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Or explain that this was not a troll take.
Sure,
he
wasn't,
really
Connor.
believes it.
Yeah,
and acknowledge Mahomes was excellent.
Yeah,
Said
great.
He was the first or second best QB in the whole league. Yeah. But here's his quote. I don't see how the Chiefs, can simply replace the losses of Jalen Watson and Trent McDuffie while also running back essentially the same version of the offensive line for another year, especially if the team's most significant offensive upgrade was at the running back position. I thought that was a good point.
Yeah.
A little shot.
I mean, I think it's
running back's an important position. I think it's risen in the last few years.
I agree,
But there's
Brew.
no offensive line moves.
No, but so let's start there at the most boring part, then we'll get to the actual news of it. It is stunning to me how many people in the national media, from going into the draft to right now, still have no clue what the Chiefs' offensive line is. You had, I think, the majority of supposed experts saying the Chiefs might have to take a lineman at number 9. Mm-hmm. They didn't take a lineman in the entire draft. And Connor is flatly, I mean, I don't want to say he's wrong, but he's wrong. The Chiefs' offensive line is new from last year because 3/5 of it was out last year due to injury. They have a first-round pick at left tackle who missed more than half the year. They have a second-round pick at left guard. They have the best center in football in Creed Humphrey. They have one of the highest-paid guards in Trey Smith, who missed 40% of the year. And Jalen Moore is a journeyman tackle who, by the way, also missed a lot of last year. They were on their 4th-string right tackle by the end of the year. So the upgraded offensive line is guys coming back, getting healthy. So there's that piece of it. And I like Connor Orr. He gives us a lot of content. And so it hurts me to say this. This is one of the worst lists I've ever seen in major media. And while he can say he is not leaving the Chiefs and the Eagles off, to be trollish or to get attention, you cannot make a 14-team list in a 32-team league that anyone will pay any attention to unless the noteworthiness is who's off it. Because who's on it is the playoff teams from last year plus Detroit, Baltimore, and Dallas with Pittsburgh, Philly, and Carolina out. That's it. It does not take a lot of journalistic courage to be like, hey, here's half the league that can win it. And the only way it's relevant is if it's who can't win it. And so here's my biggest gripe with it. I would argue that there was no point in time in NFL history where reasonable people thought a team that might have the best coach and might have the best quarterback can't win the championship. Now, if that's all they have, you're blind on the rest of it. Can a team? Not should they be the favorites. Right. Not are they, a top 3 pick, a top 5 pick. But if you go into the season with a guy who, even Brew, who despite the down years, and Brew shows the numbers, says, I still think he's the best quarterback. And certainly a lot of people still think Andy Reid is the best coach. Can that team win the Super Bowl? I actually don't think it's going to be that long of a segment, because I don't think any of us here are going to say, Connor's right. Half the league can win the Super Bowl, the Chiefs can't. It's impossible. It's ridiculous.
Well, with all due respect to Connor, who, as you said, does a good job, just a little note for the audience out there. Yeah. Last year he did a list with the 12 teams that could possibly win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And he didn't have Seattle or New England on there. Just letting you know. I'm just saying. So take this with a grain of salt, this list. Nick, you mentioned Philly and obviously the Chiefs.
New England thing was right. We could not win, though. We got to the game and
look, I don't think many people thought Seattle would, but could? I get the Patriots, but maybe Seattle. But anyway, not my pick, but I think Cincinnati could. Like, he left them off, too. Yep. Cincinnati, Philadelphia, and Kansas City. Now, Kansas City, I'm with you, Nick, in that just having Patrick Mahomes, he's 30, or soon to be 31 in September, not 41. So he's still in his prime. And he said, Connor, in the article, as long as Buffalo has Josh Allen in his prime, they're a Super Bowl contender. The same's not true for Mahomes?
Clearly not. We haven't proven, in his defense, we haven't proven nearly what the Bills
do. So now look, I get why there's a lot of question marks about the Chiefs, including Mahomes. He's coming off the ACL. Will he be back right away for game one? How healthy will he be? How well will he play? Travis Kelce is old. Kenneth Walker III, I love the addition, but he's not an elite runner. Right. He's a good running back. He's never rushed for 1,100 yards in a season. But he's an upgrade, but he's not like a superstar. And then the receiving core and the defensive backfield. He mentioned they got 3 out of 4 starters gone.
There are a lot of question marks.
So, a lot of question marks. And and you might not like this. I don't know what I'm going to pick. But I think it's on the board that they could miss the playoffs, the Chiefs.
Definitely.
On the board. However, the question was, can they win the Super Bowl? And there's no way I can completely write off Mahomes and Andy Reid any year. They're 2 years from playing in the last Super Bowl.
KW, can I ask you a quick question?
Of course.
You just said definitely when he said it's on the board, they missed the playoffs.
Yeah.
And I'm not even trying to argue about that. What's the list of teams that it's not on the board?
That's a great question.
Is it every team but Buffalo? Because Allen seems indestructible? The Rams look amazing. They also have questionable left tackle and a 40-year-old quarterback.
Barring crazy out of the blue injury.
Buffalo.
Barring their quarterback getting hurt. Not crazy, because injuries it's a guarantee guys get hurt across the league.
No, that's a good point.
My point.
That's a very good point.
I just think in the NFL, I don't know that there's any team
that's on the board that they don't make the playoffs.
Baltimore didn't.
It's more of just
going into
how
last
shocking
year,
it
we
would
have
be.
said the Chiefs. I said it. The Chiefs
Baltimore, I
were, they had made 7
said.
straight conference championship games. It was not on the board. They missed the playoffs.
Would you be, how about this? Would you be shocked?
Would I be shocked if the Chiefs missed the playoffs this year? Yes.
Do you think it's a fair take for people not to be shocked if they don't make
Sure. I think what happened to so this is my general, and I want you to go. I didn't want to.
It's a good conversation.
I think the Chiefs lost a lot of the benefit of the doubt last year. I think the Chiefs certainly lost the aura of invincibility. That's obvious. And I think if people want to, even if I disagree with it, start to say, Andy Reid's not the best coach in football. Here's who I think is. Patrick Mahomes isn't the best quarterback in football. Here's who I think is. As opposed to prior to last year, when they were coming off 3 consecutive Super Bowl appearances, those being unacceptable opinions. Those being opinions I disagree with, but you know what I mean? I'll listen to it. I think all of that is fair. But moving all the way to, half the league has a better chance of winning a championship than them is an absurdity.
That's,
like, it's just like,
and
can I talk about the Kenneth Walker thing for a second?
Yeah, because I have something on that too.
I think that sounds smarter than it actually is. Like, oh, all they added was Kenneth Walker. I think sometimes in sports, you have a hole that is disproportionately large to the position that it actually is, or even the talent of the guy that's filling it in. So I'll mix metaphors a bit. But I don't think Isaiah Stewart is, probably one of the 75 best players in the NBA. But if you were to say, hey, Nick,
I don't want to belabor it, but
he was so great in high school, I know. But if someone were to be like, the Spurs, would the finals have gone different? Would we have a different champion if Isaiah Stewart were on the Spurs? I'd be like, yeah, maybe.
Sure.
They
Look
were
at what the role Mitchell Robinson.
Right. They were so dead when Wemby went off the court, and they needed toughness and all of this.
Scoring.
Again, mixing metaphors a bit. That's how I look at the Kenneth Walker edition. It is less it's less that he is a great player. He's Super Bowl MVP. Maybe he will be a great player. He has not yet had a great career. Right. He had an unbelievable end to his time in Seattle. But I thought the Chiefs were at such a massive deficit at that position that having them getting an above average running back, which he definitely is such a add from it being such a net negative that I think it has a bigger impact than if the Lions, who have Jahmyr Gibbs, added Bijan Robinson alongside him. Like,
sure.
You know what I mean? Like, Bijan's better than,
And especially with Mahomes coming off the injury.
Right. And so that's why I think that way. And I think it's why they prioritized that. And I think it's why they didn't prioritize the offensive line.
I thought the point about the offensive line, because we've seen so many teams have a great offensive line, running back goes down, the backup running back comes in, like, wow, this guy can cook too, because a lot of times your production is a byproduct of a strong offensive line. Do we have the Chiefs schedule, Dust? I didn't ask for it, so if we don't have it, it's okay.
Broncos first.
So I pulled the run defense ranks last year, and again, that defensive ranks kind of fluctuate year by year. But the Broncos had the second best run defense. The Colts had the seventh best. Dolphins and the Raiders were not good at all. Then you have a bye, so those were easy. The Chargers had the eighth best run defense. Seattle had the third best run defense, and then back to Denver, which had the second best run defense. Maybe it's number one, or maybe it gets worse by week 8. So I wonder that in the chunk of your schedule where Mahomes is going to be the most vulnerable, never mind, I didn't even talk about the sack rates of those teams, where Mahomes is the most vulnerable, you're also going up against the second best run defense, seventh best, eighth best, and third best, and Kenneth Walker's former team.
Yeah, but
we know what he's going to do. So I wonder if that's going to be as effective out of the gate as you are planning.
Listen, I think it'll be effective because it'll help the passing game. And I think Patrick Mahomes in week 1 is, I think we are going to find out when we go on vacation that Patrick Mahomes enters training camp full participant, 100%.
I could see it.
Even if I think that they hopefully will have a heavier run-pass balance in favor of the run early on. I think Patrick is going to have no listed limitations going into the season. That's what I think.
Nice.
We'll see. We'll see. But I was the first to report he'd be dancing at Travis Kelce's wedding. Keep that in mind.
Time to play a game of something or nothing. The Miami Heat posted a YouTube live stream titled LeBron James Introductory Press Conference. One problem, LeBron James is not on the Miami Heat, and there is no introductory press conference yet. Then they took it down. Their explanation was that the social media team was preparing Brew for the possibility that James would sign with Miami. Is this something or absolutely nothing?
I bet we could get some great Brew newspaper stories right here about pre-writes, about people that haven't even died yet.
Their obituaries and all that are already written.
Ready to go.
I don't think it's anything. Now, I'm not saying he couldn't go there. He may go there, but I actually believe the Miami Heat, first of all, their social media doesn't know where LeBron's going. But I believe it was a mistake. They are preparing for in case it happens, as probably are all the other teams where he might go. And I think that's what this is. So, look, when he went, we have to remember, when he went to Miami in the first place, they didn't know for sure until he announced it on the decision.
I think when Liv, I remember being like, Liv was setting up a party. A
lot of people, including myself, were reporting he was going to Miami, but they did not know for a fact until he said it on the decision. Same thing when he went back to Cleveland. Cleveland didn't. Remember Dan Gilbert almost made a move that would have complicated. Yeah, exactly. So they didn't know until they saw the article in Sports Illustrated where he announced he was going. And he did not even have a press conference when he went back to Cleveland or when he went to the Lakers, to like an introductory press conference. So and especially the way it worked last time he went to Miami when they had the big party and celebration and didn't win it that year, I would expect that there won't be a ton of pomp and circumstance wherever he goes, particularly if it's Miami. So I honestly think, Nick, this was an honest mistake. They are preparing for what they're going to do. Maybe it's a young person in social media that hit the wrong button.
Or an older person.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe more likely an older person. Yeah. You're right. But, I don't think it's anything.
There is a 0% chance with how closely. I believe, and I think you might disagree with me on this, I believe LeBron and Rich that he has not 100% made up his mind yet. I think he has a significant lean right now, but I do not think he has he knows definitively. But let's say I'm wrong. Let's say they actually have decided. I would be utterly and thoroughly gobsmacked if it has leaked to the level of Gianna for the Miami Heat knows, and yet or Miles, who's in for Gianna this week, and yet not a single person covering the league is able to report it.
Right.
That to me is just because if it gets to the level of that many people know, then it gets out. Like that is, so that is where I'm saying I think this specific thing is nothing. I also think he's going to end up in Miami. I said it yesterday, I will say it again. They are not talking to anyone. That is based on nothing other than my gut feeling and maybe a little bit of what I am starting to think is his best chance for a 5th ring. Because I don't think he's playing only 1 year. I do like the idea of the reliability. I know he's been banged up as of late of Giannis, the upside of Giannis, the stability, like Kenny Atkinson versus Eric Spoelstra is a big golf. Pat Riley's final act, if you will. And
Giannis is the best player.
Giannis is the best player of any of the guys he could play with by far. And I am talking myself into this top 8. That this team in the Eastern Conference, if we show what the top 8 guys of the Miami Heat are, that those first 5 guys are your starters. Davion Mitchell's your point, Wiggins is your 2, Bron your 3, Giannis your 4, Bam your 5. Hardaway and Portis off the bench shooting. Jovic had a brutal year last year, but his name does sound like Nikola Jokic, right? And that plus the little allure of South Beach, for buyout guys or whatever it is interesting to me. And I like the fit more than Cleveland, and I like the story more than Philly. And I just think the Warriors failing to get Anthony Davis made that, I don't want to say it's impossible, but I think it's unlikely. So I think this is nothing, but I also think he might end up picking Miami, and people are going to say, see, the social media, Giannis knew.
Yeah. Also, he's old and it's warm.
And it's great golf.
And I know it's like, well, when you look at the advanced analytics of how he would play with Bam, it's like, and I've been living in California, and I do not want to go back to a cold.
Do you think Miami?
It's home.
Now I do.
Oh, you think this is something then?
I think this is something. Look.
You think Pat Riley hit that button?
A little false flag. a tiny bit of false. I just think it's like, I've been there. It's really nice there. He's done it. It's really warm.
It is nice.
People who live in LA do not like the cold. You think they don't like the cold? Just Chat with someone from LA. Hey, in December, how is it there? Oh, it's 10. Oh, not me. I was on the beach.
We came back from the cold.
Yeah.
We came from LA back there.
You can only
It's
be out
tough.
there
It is
for
tough.
so long.
I also thought Pat Riley doing that sit down with LeBron wasn't nothing. Pat Riley doing that sit down with LeBron, being a little more open, talking about LeBron, like that struck me as
Make sure he knows.
Yes, that struck me as not nothing. Not everything, but not nothing.
World Cup Final. Final numbers are in. Spain and Argentina sets a ratings record. 39 million people watched on Fox. Peak of almost 52 million. It's a record
That's pretty
for a soccer broadcast, beating the previous record, which was also set this year, 33 million for USA-Belgium. Nick, we'll start with you. What do the record ratings tell you about the future of soccer in the United States?
I think that there is going to be a decent percent of these 39 million people that now work soccer either domestically or internationally into their sports diet. That's what I think.
Yep.
I think that this World Cup was a supercharged, no pun intended, 5-week drive to survive what F1 got from Netflix. Where it was called Drive to Survive, right? And where, listen, that didn't have 40 million people watching the episodes, but it was on long enough with enough popularity that it clearly, and you can see the data, created a new fan base of Formula One in America. And I think that soccer is going to ride a similar wave. I do not think it is going to, I think it will have a bigger impact on soccer's popularity and viability on shows like this and in sports bars than it's going to on us having the next Lavinia Mall. I don't think it's going to have as much of an impact on the U.S. men's national team winning a World Cup as much as it is on the next World Cup being super, relevant in the sports zeitgeist and the major soccer events over the next 4 years leading up to it, having not World Cup level relevance, obviously, but more so to where someone might be like, oh my God, you see, who won the Champions League, which would be a very niche conversation prior to this in America.
Yeah, look, I was not very much into soccer before this, but really totally enjoyed the World Cup, and am still in a little bit of withdrawal.
Me too.
I mean, really, like probably the rest of this week, it'll be nice to be on vacation and get it out of my system. But I loved it, and I think a ton of Americans feel the same way, and I agree with you, Nick. We'll begin watching more and more soccer. I'll say this about the player pool. Because of this jump, and a lot of people being like, man, I really like soccer, and seeing the athletes and just, all that, combined with the decline in young people playing football, tackle football. Now, those people that aren't playing tackle football because, and I know a ton whose parents won't let them or whatever reason, they're playing flag right now. But I would imagine some of those really great athletes who could play football but aren't playing tackle, instead of playing flag, may start playing soccer. And they're in the same seasons. If you're a young kid, soccer and football happen at the same time, so you pretty much have to choose one or the other. So I think that could increase the athletic ability. Not that you obviously have great athletes playing soccer, but this will add,
the pool gets wider.
The pool gets wider and more athletes are available to play it. So I do think it might be a boost in just the number of young people and even high-level athletes playing soccer.
I kind of lean, I totally agree with you, and I lean towards you, Brew, that the fun part about this is we only need 15 guys and really 11 starters, right? So can you we're 11 kids affected by this that could get us to the next level. And there's a fun article on The Athletic by Paul Tenorio that Landon was 12 and he saw Argentina play Romania in 1994. So Landon was already on a path to being a great soccer player, but did that give him a little bit of an extra boost? And, was someone in the stadium with you that is the next Landon Donovan or next Christian Pulisic? It's a fun conversation, and I do think our sports appetite, I wrote, I was a little more saccharine than you. when you have one child, you're like, how could I? And then you're gonna have another child or multiple kids. You're like, I can't imagine how I'm going to love another child as much as I love my first child. And then you realize your heart gets bigger. That's how I felt about soccer. My sports heart looks like I'm watching Bundesliga now. Just opens up.
I also have a classic category 1 that Fox Sports has honored me to where I get to announce it. Ahead of Fox Sports PR. They have not yet announced this. We are announcing it here.
Wow.
The overall markets for the World Cup. Which markets were watching the most soccer? Oh, looky there.
Oh, that's nice.
As I told you all,
congratulations,
the number 1 soccer market in the country, my hometown, Kansas City, Missouri. And that second number is share, which means when there was a game on, 20% of all TVs that were on in Kansas City were watching the game.
That's interesting. I view that as almost a story around, let's call it like baby blue. That like since Messi was there in Argentina, and maybe it even like got more into the Kansas City fabric, and the fact that no one wants to watch the Royals. I think that helped too.
That's very true. Boston is rolling. United.
I said going into the tournament this was going to happen. I know. You made the same bad jokes. It happened. Shout out Kansas
were struggling
City. You know what? Shout out Kansas City. And thank you to Fox Sports PR for letting us announce that on this show. Cut out Wild's Royals chat.
Friend of the show, Aaron Schatz, ranked every NFL
friend of the show?
Because I'm friends with him.
Okay, well then just say friend of yours.
I'm on the show.
Friend of the show usually means he's been on the show. I like
Nacho is friends with the show.
Nacho's been here.
Aaron Schatz works for ESPN.
Yeah, I know.
Invite him on the show, but he's a friend of the show.
Okay, fine.
Aaron Schatz a long time ago.
Fair enough. That's right.
Friend of the show, Aaron Schatz, ranked every NFL team based on under 25-year-old talent, especially after I saw this article. To rekindle our relationship. Coming in at number 1, the Super Bowl silver medalist, a.k.a. the Argentina of American football world, the New England Patriots. Coming in at number 29,
Yikes.
the Buffalo Bills.
29 is not good.
Now, for what it's worth, the Rams were dead last.
But they want to be. They trade their first-round picks.
Oh, yeah, they don't like the picks.
Or they draft backup quarterbacks.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Which team has a brighter future, the Bills or the Patriots?
Long term, I think obviously the Patriots, because Drake May is what, 23, 24?
23.
23.
Yeah, maybe 22.
Soon to be 24, I believe.
23.
And Josh Allen is 30. And so long term, I think the Patriots for sure. Short term, which, is future, the Bills. Because Josh Allen's better than Drake May, I'm sorry to say.
I don't know.
He's better than Drake May.
He's pretty good.
And I actually think Joe Brady's going to do a good job. I think the offense is going to be even better. I think, and I'm actually now, because my question has been, how's that defense without Sean McDermott? I think Jim Leonard, the new DC, is going to do a good job. He's obviously his track record as well. So I think he's actually going to keep that as an elite level defense and maybe even take them to another level. So I actually think Buffalo's going to have a really strong season and be good the next several years, and maybe at some point
several
probably
years.
Yeah, I mean, Josh is 30.
So that's
he's got 5 years left at least.
You think he's going to start to run less and less?
Yeah, but
right?
I think he'll still
he hasn't.
be. I still think he'll still be great.
You're going to be taking hits at 34?
He'll run less.
So so my question is, what is the future? Because if we are, here's my answer. Over the next 3 years, I will take Buffalo, and from that point forward, I will take New England. I don't know how much longer Josh is going to play. I assume quite a long time, but I would assume that the next 3 years he will still be an MVP caliber quarterback. That plus the experience plus the age of the roster won't really kill him over the next few years, but it will eventually. Not having a lot of good young players is a death sentence in the NFL.
Yeah.
The Rams don't care about it because they are, their quarterback's almost 40. So they're like, you know what, we're going to reset anyway, so we're good with it. And Trent McDuffie, who they traded for, didn't make this list. He just turned 25. You know what I mean? So they still have, it's not like they have, but they traded away a young superstar or star edge rusher for a 30-year-old super duper star edge rusher. Like they're, so I like the for mixed metaphors again. I like the Patriots for the next presidential term. I like the Bills for the rest of this one.
Can I make an argument for you to like the Patriots right
immediately?
Away?
Sure.
Right away.
They won 14 games. Yeah.
Yeah. They split with the Bills last year. I expect Drake May to be better this year, even if the record is not better. I do think we're going to see Drake May get smarter and benefit from the experience, and also get physically bigger. If you're watching Drake May's photos online, he looks good.
You used to say that about Mac Jones.
Yeah.
No, I never said that about.
What do you mean? You showed us our
Mac Jones is
floating.
no, I did never like that.
Loved it.
No, I didn't. In fact, I hated it. He's working out in ankle
We used to show it
socks.
all the time.
I did not like it. Drake May's just drinking protein shakes. He looks good.
Yeah.
I don't know if maybe Josh can get a little wiser, but I don't think Josh Allen has another level to get to.
Oh, I disagree with you.
You think Josh Allen can become a better football
I think
player?
he needs to become.
Quarterback.
He needs to become
Yeah,
smarter.
wiser. I'm saying wiser.
Well, that's better. I mean,
But if his how much? I think Drake May has this much to grow, and Josh is already up here and has this much.
So I'm not trying to be argumentative. I think the part that Josh Allen, it might only be this much, but it's the most important piece.
Okay. Also,
but go
might
ahead.
not happen.
Correct. 100% might not happen.
Tom Brady's like, stop doing that. He's like, okay.
What do you know?
Just from last year, did the Bills actually get better last year, roster-wise?
From last year.
Yeah, they added DJ Moore. We added A.J. Brown. We did have, whatever you think about our first-round draft pick, whether he's going to be great or not, we do have one, and they didn't. They traded back and sort of stockpiled picks when they lost their draft pick because of DJ Moore. And finally, the coaching. The big question of coaching is, do you value real continuity with defense, offense, head coach, or do you value this kind of continuity, half measure, kind of brand new thing that they're doing, where we're going to get rid of the head coach, we're going to elevate the OC?
Well, it depends. If
I just don't.
It's whether or not
maybe that works.
Joe Brady's good or not.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's
It's an unknown. You guys do have a known quantity, but I don't know if you necessarily, when we're talking about down the road, because this question certainly is not just about next year, want to do that they didn't have first-round pick, because you guys didn't trade back to get out a first-round pick. You guys traded away next year's first-round pick for an aging player.
Well, that's what you can do when you're the number one team.
No, for sure. And so I do not think that I view the Pats' young players quite as highly as Aaron does, except for Drake.
It was really a Drake Christian Gonzalez with the dash of healthy Will Campbell.
Yeah, but even Aaron in his article talks about another one of their guys, first-round pick Caleb Lomu, who he says might play left tackle, which I have said repeatedly, and you've yelled at me on and off the air and said, and I quote, "You make the show look dumb when you say things."
I don't say dumb. I said.
I also think so. I think Christian Gonzalez is another guy that I think Christian Gonzalez is your Trent McDuffie for me previously. An excellent young first-round pick corner that we both viewed as he might be the best in the league, and I don't think people outside of New England or Kansas City viewed him as quite that. I was ready to go to the mattresses that why is Sauce Gardner better than Trent McDuffie?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I felt very strongly about that. He was first-team All-Pro, all of that. He was traded. He got a nice trade return, not what Sauce got. You know what I mean? That the answer was kind of there. So I don't view Christian Gonzalez quite.
I don't know. We would have lost the Super Bowl by 50 if he wasn't out there.
I mean,
he had his best game in the biggest moments, and we still got cooked. But he's going to get a big contract coming up.
So I think. But so do you expect, not hope, expect the Pats to be better than the Bills this year?
Yes.
Oh, so you think you guys aren't going to take a step back? It's a significant one. Because the Bills, you don't think are going to win 9 games. You think the Bills are going to be a playoff team,
the Bills, right? Look at the Bills' schedule is very similar to our schedule last year.
Right.
We were better, and we were better than the Bills. And Drake May in his second year has gone further than Josh Allen ever has. I think that has to be worth something. Now, was it just random luck that?
So, but you think 13 wins for you guys then?
I don't know. It's not predictions week. I don't want to be.
No, but if you, but you think you're going to win the. But hold on. Well, But you expect them to win the division.
Yes, I expect us to go back to winning the division.
Yeah.
12.
Well, then, I think that's at least, unless Joe Brady's 11. A disaster.
Right.
You know what I mean? Then it should take 12 wins to win a division with Buffalo.
I think the Bills are pretty more vulnerable than everybody thinks.
Wow.
I don't know. I haven't looked at their schedule like you did. I thought you were saying the Bills' schedule this year is like the Pats last year.
No, I'm saying when it's like the Patriots had an easy schedule.
Oh, you mean both of them last year?
Both of us pretty much had the same schedule.
I thought you were saying last year.
There's a few different placement, but we're both playing largely the same teams.